in 2016 when I experienced a horrific racist incident which caused me so much pain. I believed at that time I wouldn't be able to overcome it. I believed I wouldn't be the person I love being. Someone who likes to laugh out loud, enjoy conversating with people, be adventurous, and experience the world. I just believed I wouldn't survive the pain. But by taking 4 steps, I was successful in transforming my personal pain into collective action, and not only to start solving the racial issues we have in the city of York, but we made history. We made history by becoming the first city in the north of England to declare our commitment to be an anti-racist and inclusive city. We made history. I am giving you a content warning on what's coming next, because I am not able to use racialized and sexualized expletives. So it was 7:30 a.m. on a breezy spring morning when I eagerly placed my small suitcase in the boot and hopped into the blue taxi car I ordered to the train station. The car smelled fresh. It smelled really good, and I felt comfortable and safe. Because you know, there are some taxis, the moment you see them and the smell of it, you cannot wait to get to your destination. But this taxi wasn't one of those. I felt comfortable and I felt safe. The taxi driver, probably in his late 60s, looked friendly. And I also noticed a gold wedding band on his left hand. And I thought, this is going to be a safe journey to the train station. I'll chat to him, I'll ask about life's lessons, you know, me just being me. But 5 minutes into the journey, it all went wrong. At 7:35 a.m., I asked the taxi driver, why are you taking the longer route? Because I'll miss my train. Please take the shorter way. He, the taxi driver, paused for a few seconds and then vomited a barrage of racial slurs. You black this. Who do you think you are talking to? You black that. Get out of my car. And as if it couldn't get worse, we were approaching an amber traffic light, going to red. He stopped, quickly ran to the boot, took out my suitcase, opened the back seat door of the car, and brutally repeated, "Get out of my car now, you black this." The anger and the shame I felt are indescribable. I was trembling and I felt unsafe. I felt really unsafe. I eventually found my way back to my apartment and I just sobbed my eyes out. A few days later, I was ready. You see, I was ready to use this excruciating and shameful pain to inspire collective action to solve the racial issues we have in our city. I wasn't going to waste my pain. I wasn't just prepared to waste the pain. So how did I do it? how do we transform our personal pain into collective action to start solving societal problems? One is to acknowledge and embrace the pain. We've all heard the saying, right? A problem shared is a problem halved. And in my case, when I sought therapy, it was true. I was afforded with the tools and the techniques to embrace my pain, but not to allow the pain to define me. So I say to you, at the first step, embrace the pain. Do not allow the pain to define you. Use your pain as your power for good so we can solve societal problems. What I would say, as my hero Audre Lorde said, caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. So do not waste your pain. Step 2 is about collectivism and collective action. You see, to solve complex societal problems, we must be able to transform our internalized pain into collective action. Share your pain, speak to communities, and as we do, the pain will dissipate, helping us to refocus our energies for the greater good. I know when I experienced the racist incident in March 2016, I did exactly that. I reached out to compassionate people and compassionate communities. But I also wrote to my MP, asking, how are we going to solve the racial issues we have in our city? You see, what I wasn't asking and demanding was not to solve those racial episodic events. No, I'm asking you, us, we, to take a strategic and holistic approach in dealing with the root causes of racism. So I am asking you to adopt the ideology of collectivism and collective action. Keep your eye on the prize. Let us be forward-thinking and be strategic. We must look above and beyond the pain so we can be the hope for our future. Step 3, make it a movement and not a moment. When the anti-racist collective action began to gain momentum, we sought out and listened to other people experiencing painful events. We also took an intersectionality approach, because whatever the mission, it should never be a zero-sum game. We must be compassionate to people who are experiencing other injustices. We must make it a movement and not a moment. I vividly remember when we made the decision, this bold, powerful and scary decision to put forward a citywide motion to make York an anti-racist city. I remember it very well. The first meeting was a very wet day in January in a coffee shop. And after explaining the idea to the team, the look on their faces, the only way I can describe it is, Haddy, you must be crazy. How are we going to achieve this big plan? But it was a look I am used to seeing from my mother, who thinks I am just out of this world with my ideas. But I call it being brave and doing the right thing, even when you don't get the praise. So the citywide motion was the beginning of creating a movement which made York the first city in the north of England to be an anti-racist city and creating a history. And as my other hero, James Baldwin, said, once you realize that you can do something, if you don't do it, you will not be able to live with yourself. So I say be radical with your ideas and your actions. And look at your pain above and beyond, so we can be the hope for our future. Lastly, the fourth step is making sure that we have a viable long-term strategy that will make a difference now and for the next generation. Just a couple of years ago, when the anti-racist motion was passed, we have developed a compelling anti-racist and inclusion strategy for York, which will see the city implement 87 action plan to make York an anti-racist and inclusive city. We cannot be discouraged, and do not be defeated by the path ahead of you. We must be resilient at all times. We all have experienced painful events. If you haven't, you will. We will all be impacted indirectly or directly by injustices and societal problems. We are facing global problems such as poverty, the cost of living crisis, racism, discrimination against the LGBTQ+, people with disability, climate change worries, and the list goes on. Do not waste your pain. Just imagine how we can solve the societal and global issues and problems if we collectively come together and make sure that we can acknowledge and embrace our pain, we transform our pain into collective action, we make it a movement and not a moment, and making sure we have a viable long-term strategy for now and for the next generation. Imagine that, how many things we can solve. And I believe and I am hopeful that together we can be part of the radical problem-solving global team. Let us be compassionate for the next generation and for those not yet born. And I'll leave you with this. My biggest hero, Haddy Njie, said, "You must take courage and keep hope alive." Thank you.